Now we are going to talk about compare and contrast paragraphs. We have talked about cause and effect before this. Now we are moving on to comparison and contrast. Compares and contrasts are the similarities and differences between two things. How are dogs and cats different? How are dogs and cats the same? So when we enlist the differences and the similarity, that would be counted as comparison and contrast. Now this is one way of mapping out the differences and similarities between a thing or a topic or two similar kind of things, right? Now look at the yellow box. It is about the cake. Cake is baked in an oven. People spend hundreds of dollars for the perfect cake for a wedding, right? Then look at the blue box. Ice cream melts easily when left at room temperature. Ice or a freezer must be used for ice cream to be prepared to eat, right? Now look at the green box. Both change from their initial liquid form in order to be consumed. Cake and ice cream are both served at certain special occasions. There are many different varieties and flavors of these desserts. So there are two things and they have been compared and contrast through these three colors. Now moving on to the signal words, we have already talked about them in cause and effect as well. Signal words are also used in compare and contrast. For contrast, you can use the words that are written in green box, for example, different from, in contrast, although, more than, less than, instead of, however, on the other hand, on the contrary, as opposed to, but not, while, and unless. And compare words are in the blue box, same as alike, not only, but also, either, or, likewise, and etc. So these are the words that you can use for compare and contrast paragraphs. Now this is an example and we have to identify what are the signal words in the following passage. Chimpanzees and humans are alike in many ways. A baby chimp laughs when its mother tickles it. After chimpanzees fight, they kiss and make up. When one chimpanzee comforts another, it gives a hug or a pat on the back. There are, of course, many ways that chimpanzees and humans are different. Chimpanzees are smaller and stronger than humans. An adult male chimpanzee stands 3 or 4 feet tall and weighs about 100 pounds. But a chimpanzee can lift more weight than a man who is 6 feet tall. So there are many words that are signal words. Some of them are comparing words and some of them are contrast words. Now look at the yellow box. Chimps have a smaller stature than humans. We have talked about then, that how we can use then for comparison. Even though they are smaller, chimps can lift more. Now even though is also a signal word that is comparing chimps. People are taller than chimpanzees. A male human is able to lift less weight than chimps. Both human and chimp babies laugh at being tickled. People and chimpanzees try to resolve disagreements. So these things written in the green are the similarities between the chimpanzees and humans. Compares and contrasts the similarities and differences between two things. These are, as you can see, there are two frogs sitting at the end. Both of them are frogs, but they are from different categories of frogs, and the words are listed in front of you. In the yellow box are the words that are used for contrast, and in the blue box also you can see that on the other hand, but not, etc. And in the green box, the comparing words are listed that are used for similarities as well. As a passage is read, think about the keywords. Be ready to respond to portions where the two topics are alike and when they are different. On your comparison and contrast graphic organizer, write how topics are different on the outer part of the Venn diagram and how the topics are the same on the inner portion. This would have happened if I was live in the class. I would have asked you to do this activity in the class, but unfortunately we are not doing it live, so we'll be moving on from this. And this is one of the Venn diagrams or one of the graphic organizers that you can use for writing a compare and contrast paragraph. Definitely you will have to write the final paragraph in the form of a paragraph, not this graphic organizer, but this can help you list a number of compare contrast points for your final draft. Because as we have discussed in the writing process, first you pre-write, then you write, and then finally you revise and edit it and everything, and then finally you publish. So this page could be used, this Venn diagram could be used for pre-writing purposes. This is another example of compare and contrast paragraph. It is about basketball and soccer. Let's have a look. Basketball and soccer are sports with many similarities and differences. Both sports are fun to play and each one has many beneficial qualities. Here are some of the similarities and differences with basketball and soccer. As you can see that this is the opening lines. Moving on, basketball and soccer are played with a round ball. So these are the similarities which we are talking about. They both provide a ton of exercise such as running. So if you want to get in shape, these are the sports to play. A referee judges each game. When a player breaks the rule, he or she is called for a foul. A soccer player receives a red or yellow card and a basketball player is called for a foul. Finally, a score is kept in each game. The team with the highest score wins. So these are the similarities between basketball and soccer. Let's have a look on the differences between the two. Even though basketball and soccer are similar, differences do exist. Even though an athlete dribbles the ball in the both sports, a basketball player uses his hands and a soccer player uses his feet. Usually soccer is played outside on a large field and basketball is played indoor on a court made out of wood. Basketball is played with 5 players and soccer has 11 players. Lastly, basketball has 4 quarters and soccer has 2 halves. In conclusion, both sports are fun and exciting to play. Each one offers exercise and competitiveness. Also, they are unique in their own way. So this is one of the best examples of writing compare and contrast paragraph.